Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It has been almost more than a year since I uploaded any video on this channel. I was quite busy with other learnings and I came back. Now I have a chance. Now I have a time. I can spend some time on creating those videos and upload on this channel. As it always been a technical channel, and it is going to be some technical going forward. So there will be tutorials and there will be some technical talks and some related to stuffs will be on this channel. So today we are start with Azure. So following couple of video will be related to Azure. So what we are going to do in this video is that we are talking about Azure virtual machines basic stuff. So in this video I'll create a demo. In this video we will create Azure virtual machines in Windows platforms and Unix platform. Then we will talk about different aspects of virtual machines during the creation. Once it is created, we will connect those Azure virtual machines from our PC. In my case, I will be connecting from Mac. Later, we will install web servers on those VMs, try to access them from outside of the virtual network. We will find a way without logging into VMs if we can install web servers. So this is we are going to do in this video. So let's get started with demo. So let's get started with creating first virtual machine in Windows. So we will come into home page, and from there we'll create resource and virtual machine. Select the virtual machine and we will start with resource group. So resource group is a logical way of grouping all the resources in single group. So this is one group we have to create. So create new group because we don't have any group. We create npsrg. Just we can give any name, and virtual machine. So I'll give the name demo VM. And I will create this in East US availability zone. It will be in availability zone and it will be in zone 1. So we can create the VM in different regions, and there's a lot of regions are here, but by default I'm selecting this one, ES region. So every region has some feature, some they may not have. We have to look into that and find out, but right now I think we are fine because we are creating a basic VM. Now come to the availability zone. Means in one region we can have a multiple availability zone, and if you want to replicate our VM in a different zone, in case some data center, some zone get failed, so it still will have access to multiple VMs. I don't want to go in another multiple zone right now because for the cost purpose, because I'm creating demo and I'm spending money here. Security type, there are different type of security. Standard, the basic level security for your virtual machine. Trusted launch means protect against persistent and advocate attack on Gen 2 virtual machine with configurable feature like secure boot and virtual trusted platform. And then confidential, then another level of security. Architecture, we are talking about here image. So I'm going to create a Windows. So by default it is I'm creating select Windows VM. And for Windows VM, there is no ARM64 available. So we are going to x64 architecture. And then image, we are selecting this vCPU 8 GB memory, which is going to cost average $137 per month. You can see different groups are available, different images are available, different sizes of images are available. We have how many virtual cores, how many RAM, how much RAM, how many data disk, and all these things in this. So we can select based on the requirement, and that's where so I'm just selecting the one which I selected earlier. Another one is then now we have to provide username. So I'm going to give you username by default, this one, but Here I'm going to create my own password. So remember, here we have to, the same username cannot be used in passwords. You have to use a different password. So you cannot use same keyword or same username as a password. So here I'm creating this. Okay, it seems password is not matching. Let's again. Okay. Let me confirm that if password is correct. Okay, let's now inbound ports. So how many, if we want to connect this to this VM from outside of the Azure, then we have to open some ports. So right now it is by default opening RDP port. Means we can do RDP to the VMs, and apart from that, we have different other ports are available. But by default right now we are going to RDP. Licensing cost is that if you already have a license to that operating system, you can use that licensing. In that case, you will have a savings. Next is disk. This is a virtual disk encryption. Means by default there will be a OS disk, and OS disk will have a size of 127 GB. You can change if you want, but it is starting default is 127 GB. Then premium and OS disk type is premium SSD, means SSD. So that will be a fast input output, or means because being a premium SSD, there will be fast input output readouts. And then this is a local redundant storage, means it will create the copy of your disk in single data center. If our entire zone fails, then at least you can still have access. But in case of if there is a entire data center failure, then you will have a problem. You cannot access the disk, and you cannot use the operating system. In that case, we will have a zone redundant. So if you have a zone redundant, they can use multiple, means one zone down, then you can at least access from other zone, and data is replicated in 3 different zones. And then we have a standard SSD, then we have premium SSD. Then premium SSD will give more performance, as standard SSD will not give you any performance, that much of a preference. Now encryption, disk means if you want to, this is require. This option is if you delete the virtual machine, then it will delete all this OS disk also. Secondly, we have a manage. If we have encryption enabled, we can encrypt the keys, encrypt the OS disk with platform managed keys, or we can use our customer provided managed keys. So for customer provided managed keys, we will be using secure vault, and in the probably in following coming videos I'll discuss about it. I'll dedicate entire video only on disk management. Let's go to this is ultra for different comparative modes. I'm not going to go in detail. We will talk about it when we talk about it in disk encryption later. If you want to attach another data disk, for example, this is OS disk, but you want to attach this OS data disk in your virtual machine, that is we can do from here, but right now I'm not doing. I'm just saying that then we are going to create a dedicated video for the same. The networking. Now every virtual machine should be in any in the network. That network will be private to your organization, and nobody else can access those virtual networks. So any resources created in that virtual network, nobody else from outside of the virtual network can access it. So I'm by default creating. I'm not creating it. I'm changing the name. It would don't want it to be created demo VM. I want to create NPS VNet because. If I create another VM, I want to create this. I want to put this virtual machine in the same network. Every network have a subnets, and by default it creates a one subnet. If you want to go in detail, if you click here, here you can say that in one virtual network address range is from 10.10.0.0.0 to 10.0.255, and you can have around 65,536 VMs, because those are addresses are available. If you subnet, if you split that complete space, address space, into different subnets, that is a logical separation of your VMs. For example, in single which network organization, if you want to create some VMs for some different department, if you want to segregate department or technology, suppose you want to create all with web server in web, you can create a subnet for the web servers, or you can create some subnets for for department. This kind of subnet you can do, and for each subnet we can have around 256 addresses. This is security group. If you want to implement some, if you want to implement some security on the VMs, so there's the basic security, then advanced security, there's groups, so we can do that. Another one is same thing we discussed earlier in the previous set, that public inbound ports by default it is available to RDP. I'm not using any other. Then if you same check, if you want to delete the IPs, if an IC when VM is deleted, accelerated hardware networking, this is by default selected. I'm keeping it right like this. Now load balancing options mean if you want to add this virtual machine to existing load balancer, then you can use those. If even load balancer or application gateway, suppose this your VM is part of any web services or services, so you can put them behind the load balancer, and those load balancer you can select from here. But right now we are not doing it. We will create a separate video for that one. Then we have a management part. If you want to identity, if you want to enable system assigned managed identity, that is useful when this machine want to connect to virtual any system within the network, or maybe secure vault to get the keys to encrypt or decrypt the disk. That information is required. Then Azure AD, if you want to log into this VM with Azure AD instead of secure user ID password, we can configure all this thing from here. Auto shutdown, if you want to shut it down automatically, if you want this machine to be shut down automatically after 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock to save the cost, we can do that. The backup, site recovery, that is all. It has its own videos, and that's going to take long time, so I'm not using it right now, but we will talk about later in future videos. So I suggest to subscribe if you want to hear from me. Next is just monitoring diagnostic. So we will right now alerts, if you want to get alert in case something happens on your machine, and those configurations you can do from here. For example, CPU percentage is 80%, if your memory is less, or maybe you have a different, these are the different alerts you can configure. I'm not configuring anything right now. Boot diagnostic, that is boot diagnostic means if your machine properly booted or not. If it's not, then if you want to know what went wrong, so that's where we can store the boot diagnostics. Here right now it's the managed storage account, which is managed by Azure, and another is custom storage account, which is we will create our own storage account and put that diagnostics there. And health monitoring, if you want to enable. Right now we are not doing this thing because it will have its own video. Let's go to advanced, another same thing. If you want to install some application or some extension or implement some configuration, you can select from here. We will have a separate section in this video, And finally, if you want to put some custom data or some user data to be used by the application or system later, you can put here. Those data will be created or stored while the machine is being provisioned. It is a one-time task. So if you want similar type of configuration or data on multiple VMs, that is useful, because when we are done here, we will create an ARM template and we can deploy multiple machines using the ARM template. Finally, there's a different other advanced feature which we are not going to talk about it. We'll talk in the future videos. Then we have tags. If you want to create the tags for each machine, whether it is belongs in a department or whether it is a development environment, production environment, or QA environment, or maybe different configuration, we can tags all those things. So based on these tags, we can view the different costs and budgets and all these things. So helpful. These tags are helpful when we are creating the reporting with respect to the Azure infrastructure. Next, we will create a review, and once review is success, we will create the Azure machine. Now it will take okay. So resources got created, and once it is done, then we'll see this message. We'll go to resource, and this resource is so if you can come here, you can see this is the IP address of your public IP address of machine. Using this public IP address, we can connect to the machine. If you go to boot diagnostic, and it will tell you that machine is ready. So come here, boot diagnostic. It will give you the, sorry, this is not the one. This is boot diagnostic. It will give you the screenshot. This screenshot means your machine is rebooted, booted correctly, and this is your time and date when it was done. So it means machine is created. Let's go and connect to the machine. So we will come here, select the connect option, and then we have connect option here. Download RDP file. I'm downloading RDP file, and when we click on the RDP file, we can install it. So it will asking to enter the user ID password. So it is connecting to our VM. So I'm exiting full screen, probably if it is properly. So it's booting. So once it is booted completely, we'll come back. Okay, machine is booted. This is the server. So this complete process is done. Machine is ready to use. We can whatever application we want to install on this, we are doing it. But right now I'm going to do is I'm going to install a web server here, and those web server will connect from outside. So web server means we are going to install the IIS on this one, and from we can, once IIS installed, we can try to access from outside. We're going to not going to do anything else. So just wait for this machine to ready. So when it is ready, we'll come here and add roles and features. So it is collecting information. It will not allow us to do it. So we will do it. Okay, machine is ready, I think. And we will install web server. IIS web server, add feature, next, next, and next. Finish, install. So it will take few minutes. We'll come back after it is done. Okay, so machine is configured for web server. See, has process completed. Let's go close and we'll disconnect from here. So this is our IP address. So we'll select the IP address and come and we'll put this here. Okay, it is still not work because we forgot one thing. So let's go to virtual machine again and install it. Let's go to virtual machine and configure that one. So that is network setting. So in this machine, if you see, this is a web server, means we have to access it on HTTP via port 80, but there's no port 80 is configured. So what we'll create inbound rule and it will allow HTTP port 80 add. So it will take few minutes. Again, once it is done, security rule is added. Let's go review, refresh, come back to network setting, make sure that we have a rule in place. Okay, we have a rule in place. So first is RDP, second is priorities. 310 means, so this is priority means which lowest number it will take first, and then largest number will take last. So all largest one we have a deny, few or the deny, few allow and all deny. So similarly here is allow. So now let's go and check if we can. Okay, so here you can see now this server is available. So that's where we are done. Okay, in this section we will learn how to use the run command. So in each virtual machine we have a run command section. Here we are in Ubuntu, so we want to run the commands without logging into the NGX machine, without logging into Ubuntu machine. So here we have an option. When you run command, there is the option run shell script. I'll click here, and what I want to right now, without logging into server, I just want to stop the service, NGINX service. So sudo service NGINX stop, and then run. Let's see what happens. Once it is done, we'll check whether we can access it or not. Okay, it is saying success. So let's go to service and try to access it. So here we cannot access it because service is down. So let's come back here and restart the service. Start and run. Wait for it and then we'll check. Okay, so we'll come back to the service and let's reload it. Okay, so our service is up and again. So in run command, any application services or any scripts we can run where there's no manual attendance is required, where no manual input is required. So we can write all automation script and we can run it from here. So this is one thing I want to talk about the virtual machine. So we will stop this video here and we'll come back with a new video next week with the advanced topic on Azure virtual machine. So please subscribe to my channel and also provide your comment in this. How can this video tutorial can be improved and what else we can do in order to make it more engaging. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Thank you.